Okay. So just quick background on myself, my family. Born and raised South Orange County, UC Irvine, UCLA graduate. Married to my wife, Vanessa. Hopefully you get to meet her later. She's enjoying a nice spa day and away from our 5 children. We live in Coto de Caza. Some of the things I love to do, I race cross-country mountain bikes, I race motocross, golf. Hopefully we can golf. I don't know who's golfing tomorrow, but looking forward to putting that together. And then quickly, background on my company as it is today. I've been in business 10 years. We're based out of South OC. We build multifamily. I built the 28 units there in Laguna Beach and Laguna Canyon, go down the 133. Done over 250 million in deals. And currently I'm developing 22 townhomes off of Crown Valley in Laguna Niguel. I've got a 10-home project right on PCH. We bought an acre in downtown Huntington Beach. And I'm also developing with a gentleman named Ron Simon. He's a billionaire. He also has a lot of philanthropic interest with many people in this room. And the Moschetti family. So before I start with the presentation and the details on what I see as the market and what the numbers are showing in the market, I thought it would be a good exercise just for everybody to better understand what real estate developers do. Some of you in this room are developers, some of you have a clear understanding, but I think there's value in when you're speaking with a group, and I was having, at the dinner last night, I was speaking with a gentleman, and he was talking to me about how his pitch is gonna go and speaking with investors, and I said, one of the things I've learned is creating simplicity. If you try to explain something that you as a professional or you as somebody that really understands your craft, it's oftentimes goes right over everybody's head. So just in clarity, what does a real estate developer do? So a real estate developer, what I do, day in, day out, the first step is identifying a product or a project, meaning where is there a need? So there may be a need for multifamily housing, there may be a need for sale, townhome, spec home, whatever it may be. So you identify that. Then you go and you have to find a project. How do you do that? You build relationships with brokers, you build relationships with landowners, et cetera. So you find the land. Let's say now I find a piece of land. What's my next step? I'll go to an architect, somebody like Larry, his firm, and I'll say, can you do a feasibility study for me? Feasibility study saying, what are your highest and best uses of this land? How many units can I put on this land? How high can I go, et cetera? Basic structure there. And then, okay, great, now we know what we can do. We underwrite that, and we see is there viability based on what the architect says, number of units, et cetera. We underwrite it, and then we go and we find the capital. And how does the capital look in my deals? The capital is high net worth families. It's smaller boutique, limited partner, equity funds, and then it's banks or private debt funds that will fund the project. And then we build it. My company carries a general construction, general contractor license. We build our own deals. So we actually go through that process of building, and then we go through either a disposition or a lease-up phase, et cetera. So that is the life cycle of what a real estate development is and what it does. So getting into what my cursory research, and remember this was done on a Saturday, 3 o'clock. Everybody's jumping on me, all the kids are screaming, so it's as good as it's gonna be. And I wanna try to be anecdotal in this too, because everybody looks at graphs, and graphs can be, so this is germane to the people that are Orange County based. If you're not, it'll help you understand how the market's going. So there has been a trend since COVID. We'll just use a high-level trend, or let's use it since 2022. COVID was the spike in demand, and then since 2022, when rates jumped, there has been a kind of counterintuitive market dynamic. We as developers all were worried when rates jumped that it was going to affect pricing negatively. It's actually done the opposite. So I'm sure many of you have read the news, and you'll see that, and you're familiar with pricing. Pricing has gone up consistently. What's driving that, what we're seeing what's driving that is supply. It's basic supply and demand. So the barriers to entry in Orange County to develop are very, very high, meaning it's very hard to actually get approvals to find land. There's very little land, et cetera. And then you have the other factor of people that currently own homes and they do not want to give up their 3% or 4% rate. So that's what's driving pricing right now. So as you can see, year over year, we're up. Year over year, sales is up. Pricing per square foot is up. Here's another graph. This is a 20-year graph. You see your spikes there, 2007, 2008. You see your big recession drop, and then you see the run-up. Another conversation I had last night, I was giving some of my experience, and I said, if you see that high and to the right there, that's saved my ass many a time as I grew my company. Meaning, I started looking at deals where you'd have, maybe a thinner margin, but you'd have volume, and that up and to the right would bail you out in a situation where the market bails you out. One of the things I learned, for myself as a businessman was finding deals that had a higher spread, maybe less volume, that gave you more breathing room for the natural dynamics or uncertainties or risk of what you're building. But as you can see, 175% increase from the trough. So let's say that's 2009, 175% increase in pricing, which is incredible. This is kind of hard to read. This is a terrible slide. I apologize. But this is permit starts. And what to read in this is permit starts essentially means how many projects or units are going to come to fruition. The trend that I'm seeing is both the numbers and what I'm seeing anecdotally is they're multifamily specifically and single family, not as much as being built. And this is the other side of the coin of financing. So remember, financing on the consumer side has artificially driven prices up because they don't want to give up their low rate. But financing for the builder side, if I'm going to get construction debt and I'm a builder, it makes it very, very difficult to obtain this financing and to do a project. So you're seeing a decline in permit starts. Well, what does that mean? Well, your housing supply will continue to stay low, and what does that mean for pricing? It should stay higher. What we're seeing it in multifamily as well. And what the net positive effect for a builder is, you've all heard in the news, let's say the last 2 or 3 years, especially post-COVID, big spike in cost, labor cost, material cost, et cetera. I am, for the first time as a builder, having subcontractors coming back and soliciting me. So for, let's say, from 2020 to 2023, you're begging your subcontractor to show up to your job. Please come to my site. Now I'm getting calls, texts, emails every single day. And again, I'm using this is non-database. This is me in the day-to-day. I'm using this to highlight the fact that there is going to be a drop in pricing. It's already happening. I'm having subcontractors coming back to me saying, hey, can we revisit the pricing that we gave you 6 months ago just so I can get the job? So this is a net positive for us as builders. Okay, conclusion, pricing remains strong. Multifamily housing construction starts are down. Single family also down. And back to the overall resilience of Orange County. Orange County, to me, the market that I focus on in my business, what I develop in, is an excellent market. It's a market that has resilience. And the number one thing that makes Orange County attractive as a builder are the barriers to entry. Very, very hard to build. If I'm building in Arizona, if I'm building in Texas, if I'm building in these land-abundant places, those places scare me. I would not touch those. Those markets, they're easy to build in, which means anybody can do it, which means value is not going to be there. So that's it. Thank you.